Let's welcome back our good friend Dave Rubin back to the program to talk more about the Mahmoud Khalil case. Dave, how have you been? Great to see you.
John, I'm fine, but you arrest that guy. That guy, who is he? He's a mayoral candidate in New York,
Yes.
or gubernatorial candidate?
He is actually, he is the #2 mayoral candidate right now behind Andrew Cuomo. So he's in the running.
Good luck, New York City, with this clown show. But you arrest that guy right there, not because he's exercising his free speech. That's just fine. You want to yell at somebody in their face? Okay, fine. He's banging into the officer. There is a security guard. I don't know if he's a state capitol trooper or what, but he's getting in his face, pushing him as far as he can go. You don't keep allowing this. This is the thing that they are trying to upend. Every norm, whether it's related to security, whether it's related to speech or anything else. No, this is not a free speech issue. This guy was in charge and working with groups that are here to upend Western civilization and destroy America. Forget about pesky Israel. They're not thrilled with them either. But they were having encampments at Columbia University. They were not allowing students and faculty to get onto the university.
And the security guard, right?
They were,
that security guard, they basically kidnapped. I mean, and I think we will see the charges develop. One thing we know about Tom Homan, he's not necessarily a rush on these types of things. And I know the DOJ, I mean, that is kidnapping. We'll see these criminal charges here, I think, come eventually. Homan, in fact, defended the ICE arrest. Here's what he said yesterday.
Limitations. But when you go to a college campus, you incite protesting and locking down and taking over buildings and damaging property and handing out leaflets for Hamas, who is a terrorist organization. Coming to this country either on a visa or becoming a resident alien is a great privilege. But there are rules associated with that. You might be able to get away with that stuff in the last administration, but you won't under this administration.
What's interesting, and I know you posted the clip of Marco Rubio, which we played yesterday as well, and while so many Americans are now, I think, somewhat invested in the Trump administration, so many people have come over, supported them, people who don't want our borders open, they're leaning in on issues like this one. And I think people who may have first been like, well, you know, free speech is important, of course, but the issue here that I think is shining through is that you don't get to come to this country and do whatever you want on a student visa and overstay that student visa. And we're not going to listen to your wife who was pregnant or just had a baby just because, sure, we sympathize with that situation, but she made a choice, he made a choice to support these positions, these, as Chuck Schumer would say, abhorrent positions.
Yeah, Marco Rubio, I'm glad you guys played it, gave one of the best 2-minute answers I have ever heard an American official give about anything ever. No one has a right to an American green card or student visa or anything else. If this guy, when he was applying for the green card, had said, oh, I'm a Hamas supporter and I'm going to show up at Columbia and I'm going to lead protests that are going to lock down the campus and make sure students can't safely get to school and all of these other things, we would have never given him the green card in the first place. This is just obvious. So I really don't think we can overstate what's happening right now. The United States is finally standing up for law and order and for the principles of the United States. Free speech is one of those principles. And if someone that is a citizen of the United States wants to protest the United States, or they want to protest Israel or anything else, I will always defend them. But if that protest comes along with violently occupying a campus, with making demands as if they are a terrorist organization, which, by the way, they are in cahoots with, well, then this is no longer a speech issue.
Right.
This is a legal issue. So, of course, all the Democrats and all the hacks online and everybody else and the mainstream media people at MSNBC and CNN are conflating this. They want you to think it's a free speech issue. Susan Sarandon, this is not a free speech issue. But if you're so interested in free speech, Susan, why don't you go to Gaza, swing by Khan Yunis, and tell them how much you love gay people, and let's see how it works out for you, Susan.
She should go to one of those hostage release parties that they throw in Gaza, as disgusting as her comments almost as said. They act like this guy is Gandhi. I mean, Chuck Schumer said, you know, this is a matter for the university to pursue. It's not a criminal matter. The DHS must articulate any criminal charges, and I think they will. We'll see that coming. But, Dave, I think what you said is so important here when you look at the political aspects of this. Trump is truly a master at this game. He has Democrats screaming to release a terror supporter while they won't say anything about American hostage still being held by Hamas. Shows you who they are.
There is a young man from New Jersey who spent most of his life in New Jersey who is in a tunnel somewhere in Gaza. He is an American citizen. Rashida Tlaib doesn't give a flying you know what. And Chuck Schumer, well, I agree with Donald Trump. He's now more Palestinian than Jewish. But I don't even care if he's Jewish. He's an American senator and should care about Americans. So these people have been completely unmasked. This is what Trump is better at than anything else. And if this is the hill you idiots want to die on, then keep going, because this is an 80-20 issue, which is what Trump exceeds at. 80% of Americans, and it's more than that actually, this is probably about a 95-5 issue, except the radicals are extremely loud and then we all end up covering them. Most Americans realize that if you come to this country, think about it this way, John. Imagine if a German student came on a green card, came to Columbia, and then he riled up a bunch of white kids. And what were those white kids doing? Well, they had MAGA hats on, and they were talking about white supremacy, and they were stopping black kids from coming onto campus. Do you think?
Well, we kind of saw this. Didn't we see this, Dave? Anytime a conservative showed up on campus, they would get shouted down all over the place. They don't even allow.
It happens to me all the time.
Yes, it happens to you, and it's happened to a lot of folks. They don't have any tolerance, except when it's their guy, Gandhi, Mahmoud Khalil, in their eyes.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.